Hello guys, what's up? It's Electroterrapin here with a very special production for you. Yes, today we are going to play Baldurs Gate Enhanced Edition. Now, for the percentage of you who are either not 30 years old or aren't really that into retro games, you may be asking yourself, what the hell is Baldurs Gate? Well, for me, Baldurs Gate is one of those games which you played when you were like 5 and you can't seem to remember whether they were real or just figments of your own imagination. I actually owned this game on the Sega Dreamcast about 12 years ago, and it was one of the first games I ever played. And there was another game back then which I played a lot, but we'll get back to that later. The point is, this game is one of those nostalgic games which slowly seep good memories into your head like a poisonous gas. The experience is very much like the Wolverine trying to remember his own past, but you know, that's about my experiences with the game. The game was released back in '98, I think, and it was developed by BioWare and published by Interplay. Just let that sink in for a moment. BioWare and Interplay. Doesn't that really speak for itself? I mean, for those of you who aren't really that familiar with those two companies, I'll fill you in. BioWare is probably best known for publishing stuff like, Knights of the Old Republic, Neverwinter Nights, Dragon Age, Mass Effect 2, the other one. They're basically the Vito Corleone of RPG developers. Now, the publisher, Interplay, they have just as vast CV of game titles to their name, like Descent, Wasteland, Earthworm Jim. I'll be just to name a few. But the grandest piece far outweighs the rest. Do you know what that was? They developed the original Fallout games. You see where I'm coming from? They made possibly one of the greatest video game franchises ever made. I understand that's a bold claim, but that's just my opinion. Now back to the game. Now, Baldurs Gate is a top-down perspective fantasy game with about more customization than a Subway. This gameplay is based on the 2nd edition D&D rulebook, meaning its combat is based on dice rolls or something. I don't really know. I'm not really too familiar with D&D. The game also has a mechanic where it can be paused at any time to assess a given situation, so this gives you more time to look at each alternative you have and find the best one. It's a really good mechanic if you want a slow-paced game, but you might find little use for it if you have the death or glory attitude. The graphics are decent for the time. They have been tweaked for the enhanced edition. I really like the art style though, it's fantastic. As well, the colours as well. It's really bright, vibrant. I suppose that's why games like this are branded into my brain, it's bright when it needs to be, unlike a monsoon of modern games. I'm not going to name and shame, but you know which ones I'm talking about. It actually reminds me of the other game I said I would talk about earlier, Record of Lodoss War. This was the other game I played way back when on the Dreamcast. I love the game, it was fantastic, mostly for the same reasons I love this game. The colours, the art style, but most of all, this. You hear that? Isn't that the most satisfying noise you've ever heard? It is for me. It was probably the only thing I could remember about Lodoss for about 12 years. I'm actually hoping to emulate it soon and do some videos on it if it's freeware, but either way, back to Baldurs Gate. There's one more thing I want to look at before I start playing, which is the music. Some of it's an epic Lord of the Rings-esque style with blasting trumpets and drums. In my opinion, this piece alone is pretty fantastic. I'm a big fan of large-scale orchestral pieces for the main themes. If you have the same preferences, I recommend the soundtrack for CK2 AGoT mod. It's the same style and creates a thrilling atmosphere. It's composed by a guy called Aurélien Benharats. I'll put a link in the description if anyone's interested. The music does a good job of changing the mood throughout. Say, if you're at a tavern, it'll be a very warming tone.
A simple task.
No time to chit-chat.
The kind of thing you'd expect from a medieval court. Whereas out in the wild, it's a very moving theme.
Yes, done and done.
Then once you enter combat, the tone changes completely. It's very well pulled off, and I haven't even scratched the surface yet. Okay, so before I bore you to death with all of my reviewing and talking, let's actually get into the game. Start playing. Wait for a new game. as you can see, you got pre-made characters, and you can tell it's obviously got the same system as AD&D, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2, I think is what it's called. And so you got pretty wide range. You know, you got your fighter, your thief, your mage. That's, you know, the generic ones. But you can also create a character. So we'll do that. Gender, we're going to go from male, of course. Why the hell not? You've got all these faces to choose from, all these things to gladly go for. And to be honest, the majority of these look like Monty Python characters. So it's very kind of cool. This is why I said I love the art style and everything like that. And I'm kind of between what to go for. I'm thinking of doing like a sneaky, thiefy person, but I don't want him to look like a Hmong at the same time. So these two are like, you know, what you associate with a sneaky, thiefy person. Don't know what that is. There's a lot of stuff you can choose from though. You've got Mr. Miyagi, of course, and you've got younger Mr. Miyagi. You got Gambit, apparently. Joker, Gimli, Sandok again. You got Hawk. You've got thingy. What's his name from The Hobbit? Shit, main guy from The Hobbit, played by Armitage. What his name is. Yeah, you got all these to choose from. You got Stone Cold Steve Austin. You got your generic fighter. You got generic orcs. You got your generic pointy-eared Eric Idle. You've got your sideburns guy, I suppose. You got fat Varys in armor. I don't even know. And you got generic snacky dude. I think I'm gonna go for this guy because this guy looks kind of, you know, he looks kind of cool. He's obviously a bard because he's got a lute, but I don't really want to be a bard. I'm gonna be humans are better for lockpicking and all that shit, but I'm gonna show you everything. So, humans are the predominant race in Faerun. Humans rule most of the significant empires and kingdoms and forgotten realms. That's where it's set, by the way. They're the most social and tolerant of races, excepting perhaps the halflings. The only special ability the humans possess is that they may advance at any class. That's any class, okay. Humans are also the only race that can dual class. Humans may not multi-class. I don't know what that means, but okay. Elves tend to be shorter and slimmer than humans. Their features are finely chiseled to delicate. Yeah, you know what they are. I'm not going to bother reading them out. You know exactly what they are. There are 6 racial divisions of elves: gold elves, moon elves, wild elves, sea elves, dark drow elves, and winged elves. Okay. 90% resistant to charm and sleep magics, infravision. +1 Thaco, whatever that is, bonus to bows. 5 to oaken lock, 20 to pickpockets, so we've got humans with 15 to pickpockets and then 10 to lock, so half elf, they're going to be a mix between elves and humans obviously. 30% resistance against charm, sleep magics, infravision, +10 pickpockets, hide in the shadows. Gnomes are small, basically. 2 to saving throws versus broad staff. They're, well, 10% to hide in the shadows, delusion, set traps, open locks, blah 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 blah. You get the idea. They're actually quite good, really. +1 intelligence, -1 wisdom. Halflings, of course. You know what halflings are, hobbits, etc. So you got these 3: Harefoot, Tall Fellow, and Stout. I really don't know how a hobbit can be a tall fellow or a halfling. +2 bonus to saving throws, some Thaco. 5 to open locks, 5 to pickpockets, dexterity, strength, wisdom. Okay. Dwarves are your berserker, you know, you get the idea. Shield dwarves, gold dwarves, wild dwarves, and Duragar. Don't know what they are. 20 to open locks. God, they're really good actually. They're better than humans are. But then again, gnomes are better, and plus gnomes are smaller. Then there's half-orcs, which are just like your generic, I'm going to cut you in half with my longsword, kind of thing, you know, so I think I'm tempted to go for dwarves now. I'll see what they've got. So, we'll see how it works out. I'm going to be a thief. And you can also, there's also all this, I told you the customization is like a subway. You know, you've got your bagel or whatever, your bagel. You've got your baguette. Now you've got your onions. So you got 5 different kinds of onions. You've got the thief onions, which are thieves, obviously a generic thief, and they have these modifiers, which they have. So they got maybe not. Okay, they got these are the. Yeah, these are the disadvantages, but then again, I'm pretty sure the advantages don't really weigh out the disadvantages on this particularly. So you can set traps, you can use backstab ability for increased damage, alignment restricted to any except lawful good, obviously, because you're a thief. Primary requisites for dual classing is dexterity. Assassins are better at assassinations, trained killers or whatever. Anonymity. Yeah, that's it. No, I'm not going to bother saying that again. You know what it means. Surprise and perform tasks. +1 bonus to hit damage and damage rolls. I mean, -1. Oh no. Backstab ability reaches ×7 multiplier instead of capping it ×5. That's quite good actually. No, this cap is not reached until higher levels, which can only be attained in Baldurs Gate 2. Oh, so is it a continuation? That could be quite cool actually. I mean, the odds are I'm never going to finish this, but whatever. This is a hunter of men, skilled in tracking, blah blah blah. You know what a bounty hunter is. +3 to set traps. You may use special snare ability once a day every 5 levels. Okay. May only distribute 20 skill points per level among thieving skills. Swashbucklers. +1 to armor class level. May not use backstab ability, so that's quite tempting. But there's not a lot of. Shadow dancers can harness the power of magic to increase their abilities. Enigmatic and dangerous, he's unquiet. Skill fuse open points seem to be shadows. Now, might go for Shadow Dancer actually, I'll see where that takes me. Alignment, I always like to go for chaotic neutral. Because they don't really care. And I want my character to be like, oh, I don't give a shit what you do, you don't give a shit what I do, but I'm going to take your wallet anyway. So you can see, these are. I used to play DDO, Dungeons & Dragons Online, for a bit, and they had the same system, I believe. Which is when you choose this. I don't really think it made any difference in that game, since it was, you know, massively multiplayer, but I don't know, I wasn't very good at it. So as you can see, certain ones are blocked out, like I mentioned earlier, depending on class, race, etc. So chaotic neutral is good. So lawful good would be, oh, you believe good, upstanding on law, blah blah. These ones believe the balance of forces is important, but the concerns of law and chaos do not moderate the need for good. Chaotic good is doing good things. Chaotic good are characters and strong individuals marked by a streak of kindness and benevolence. They believe in the virtue of goodness to right, but have little use for laws and regulations. So they go beyond the law. Lawful neutral is, I think that's just when they don't. They're like in the balance between good and evil, but they try to uphold the law. True neutral is believe the ultimate balance of forces and refuse to see either actions as good or evil. Okay. So and then lawful evil, of course, is they're evil but they do good. Neutral evil is primarily concerned with themselves, and chaotic evil is I'm gonna fuck you up and I don't give a shit. So I'm gonna go for chaotic neutral, of course. Abilities, okay. This is where we roll. This is where the dice comes into it. So you get, for example, with this roll I got 75 skill points, or points or ability points or whatever. So I'm going to re-roll until I get about 83. Here we go. So I've re-rolled that a few times. I got 83. So now I've got enough to distribute. So I'm going to take a few off the strength, put a couple into this, and then I'm going to put one into charisma. I take one out of dexterity, put that into constitution, character's fitness. I'm going to put that into that. Maybe take one out of that, put that into intelligence, and then yeah, it's quite good. So now I've got a decent balance for like a sneaky stabby person. That's quite good. Skills. This is where you can put stuff into stuff. So I'm going to put 5 into that. Make that 25 because I want to do that. Move silently. I'm going to put a few into that. Hide and shadows. I'm going to make that up to 10, 12 in fact. Detect illusion. I'm not too bothered about that, so make that to 10. Can't put anything into set traps, so let me see what's this. Yeah, I might as well put that into. Actually, tell you what, I'm going to put that into move silently because I really want that. Maybe take these two down. Put them into hide and shadows. Yeah, that's quite good. Okay, done there. Now I get to do my proficiency. So that's what you're good at basically. So first of all, I'm going to do these, which is like your weapon styles, how you fight and stuff like that. And I'm going to go into single weapon style because I like to be like rapier, like that. Is rapier an option actually? I'm not even sure. You can have ninjato and like scimitar. So that's like a ninjato is like a short and it's like a bit like a katana, and the blade's shorter than the blade's shorter than the hilt, so you can draw it really quickly and just go like that. Well, you can't see what I'm doing, but you got a general idea. Yeah, I'm gonna put that into ninjato. I would put it into katana, but they're really expensive, and it's going to be difficult to find one for quite a while. Then appearance, you get to change your appearance. It's very basic. I'm a dwarf, obviously, so you know you got this. I'm going to change my hair to yeah, sort of my hair colour. Make myself a bit paler because I'm a bit pale-ish. Then I'm going to make myself a little bit. Yeah, I'll make that. Yeah, I don't actually like that colour. This colour. Make it. Yeah. It's too bright actually. I'm gonna make this one like a green. Yeah, that's good. Like that. So now you choose a voice, and there's a lot of voices. You got the default voice, which is.
Onward!
So you hear that. You can play them a few times. You hear a few clips actually.
Onward! I feel this is my rightful place.
I will require rest soon. I should be more productive with my time.
Sounds a bit like Peter Dinklage actually. And then you got the female voices.
Your life shall be mine. Death will come swiftly.
Go, go, go! Now you're going to be sorry! Who's in for it now?
God, that's kind of scary. And then you got the male voices.
To you all! Your life ends here.
There's a few.
Time for a bit of the rough and tumble.
That's my favourite one. Because you can sound like Ringo.
Let's give them a right thrashing.
Get over here. Right then, I'm in charge.
Let's give them a right thrashing.
You got this!
If nobody else is gonna step up, why not?
And I think I'm going to go with Ringo.
Time for a bit of the rough and tumble. Ha ha! I'll lead 'em well. I'll need to be resting soon. I should get moving before the whole day is a waste. Perhaps I'm a bit more hurt than I thought.
I love that. You don't see that shit on Thomas the Tank Engine. Now, I'm not going to call myself. I'll call myself Millock, obviously. I think I might just go with Millock. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I'll just go with that actually. Because that's what I know, that, you know, that's my name and everything, and you see, so I always have Millock, it's my thing. So let me see. Got name Millock, gender, race, class, alignment, modifiers, proficiencies, and skill points. Okay. Biography. Felt like I didn't okay. Right. So now we accept. I'm not sure if there's going to be a thingy after this, in which case it will be a little bit. I'm trying to think, is there a film after this? I don't know. No, who gives a shit.
Nestled atop the cliffs
Oh
that
yeah,
rise
there's this.
from
I
the
forgot about
Sword
that.
Coast, the citadel of Candlekeep houses the finest and most comprehensive collection of writings on the face of Farron. It is an imposing fortress, kept in strict isolation from the intrigues that occasionally plague the rest of the Forgotten Realms. It is secluded, highly regimented, and it is home. Within these hallowed halls of knowledge, your story begins. You have spent most of your 20 years of life within this keep's austere walls, under the tutelage of the sage Gorion. Acting as your father, he has raised you on 1,000 tales of heroes and monsters, lovers and infidels, battles and tragedies. However, one story was always left untold, that of your true heritage. You have been told that you are an orphan, but your past is largely unknown. Lately, Gorion has been growing distant from you, as if some grave matter weighs heavily on his heart. You have asked about his concerns as gently as possible, but your queries have been in vain. Your sole comfort is the knowledge that he is a wise man, and you know he will tell you when the time is right. Nonetheless, his silence is troubling, and you cannot help but feel that something is terribly wrong. Today, Gorion has appeared more agitated than ever, and now he has uncharacteristically interrupted your chores in the middle of the day, imparting hurried instructions for you to equip yourself for travel. He has handed you what gold he can spare, but given no clue as to why. Nevertheless, you now stand before the Candlekeep Inn, ready to purchase what you need for an unplanned and unexpected journey.
I'm going on an adventure! Okay, so this is it. It's quite good, you know, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, and the models aren't that bad, but I've talked enough about all that shit.
A simple task.
Time for me to do what I was born to do. Take anything that wasn't nailed down.
Done and done.
Oh, it's locked, is it? Because you can see it's got a pretty good mechanic for thieving and stuff like that. Of course, people will see you. Could nick that dagger. Anything else I can nick? Nope, go upstairs. See, I talked about the music, but it is pretty awesome. Now this guy's asleep, so I'm gonna... Oh no, he's not asleep, okay. Now, here's when I've got to figure out how to do stuff, so... No, not the journal. So I'm hiding in the shadows. Okay, so I can't hide in the shadows. So... What are my skills? Customize, appearance. Okay, I can still do my appearance. Oh shit, no. Shouldn't have done that. I'm trying to figure out how to get my skills, like the not picklocks, pickpocket. That's it. Pickpocket skills. Stick them into the kit description. Okay. Blah blah blah. Inventory. I think my dog's at my door. That's kind of scary. It's a little demon. I'm going to equip that actually. It's got a dagger. 38 gold. Okay, that's enough. So I can talk to him. Can I pickpocket him? It's not really working. I've tried this before and it just kind of spasms out. I don't think I can do it if he's asleep. It's a bit naff, but it's locked. It's gonna... Here we go.